Welcome to week 4 of English 122 at Ashford University. I'm Dr. T. Let's get started. This week you have a couple of discussions that you need to take care of. Discussion 1 will be to paste the rough draft of your research paper into the forum. Please don't attach it to the forum text field, but paste it into that text field. And after you complete that initial post, you need to review and critique the drafts of at least 2 of your classmates. To critique or review your classmates' papers, you can formulate your critique as a Toolman analysis of the paper, but whatever you do, make sure that you focus on your classmates' thesis statements, their topic sentences and paragraphs, how they've integrated research into their paper, any fallacies that they might be using, and then the conclusion. Have your fellow students provided strong conclusions in their papers. You don't have to worry about typos or spelling errors unless it's something really major. I'll take care of that when I grade the papers. Please note that you need to be as polite as possible in offering criticism. You want to point out things that you think your fellow students could improve upon, but you want to be nice about it. So be honest with them, but be nice about it as well. And once again, each of the responses to your classmates needs to be at least 125 words. So give them some feedback that they can use. Don't just say, "Hey, that was a really good paper." That's not helpful. Okay, if somebody tells me what you've written is really good and doesn't tell me how to fix it, that doesn't help me at all. You're trying to help your fellow classmates with this, and so be helpful. Just saying stuff like, "Hey, that was really good," that's not helpful. Okay, it's nice, but it doesn't help them improve their papers. This sort of criticism is meant to help you improve your writing. Also with fallacies, one thing to watch out for is, especially in my experience, is that students have a tendency to make sweeping generalizations. All people do this. Everybody does this. Not all people do something. Not every single person on the planet behaves a certain way. Just think about stereotypes in our society. So you might think about stereotypes like, well, that guy is 7 feet tall, so he must be a basketball player. Just because he's 7 feet tall doesn't mean he's a basketball player. So you have to avoid stereotypes and sweeping generalizations. These are examples of fallacies. You can think of some fallacies that you've experienced in your own life or that you know from your own cultural experiences. Think about the things that people say about the sort of groups that you belong to. These are fallacies. You need to watch out for these sorts of things in your writing. This is improper logic. So this is one of the reasons why we take this course, is to battle against these sorts of fallacies. Not every single person that belongs to group X does that sort of thing. Just because I walk out of a hospital doesn't mean that I have been to see a doctor. I might have been visiting someone there. I might work there. You don't know. Just because you see me on the steps of the courthouse doesn't mean I've been arrested. I might have some other business in the courthouse. You don't know. So just because I'm in a garage doesn't mean I'm a car. All right? So you can't make sweeping generalizations. Be careful about that. All right, discussion 2. This also is going to be part of the review process. So in discussion 2, you're required to review your own draft of the research paper for citation errors and potential plagiarism. You have access to turn it in. This can help you determine whether plagiarism has been committed in your own paper. If you look under Learning Resources, you'll see the link to turn it in, and you can use this to determine whether you have committed plagiarism or not. Please be extremely careful about this. You can't just cut and paste stuff from the internet into a Word document. That's not research. Even if you put it in quotation marks, you can't just copy and paste giant chunks of text into a Word document. That's not research. That's not writing. That is cut and paste. And your grade is going to be reduced if you just cut and paste giant blocks of text from the internet into a Word document. That's not what this course is about. You need to put things in your own words. You need to summarize and paraphrase other people's words. Direct quotations should be used sparingly. 90% of the paper that you turn in should be your own words. Only 10% of the paper at most should be direct quotations from your sources. You've got to summarize. You've got to put things in your own words. And once again, you need to avoid those fallacies. Think about sweeping generalizations. And not every single person in Group Y does exactly the same thing. That's a sweeping generalization. Think of racism. Racism is a fallacy. Not everybody who belongs to such and such a race does X or does Y. This is a fallacy. You have to avoid this. Racism is a perfect example of a fallacy. As always, your initial post has to be at least 200 words, and then you have 2 responses to your classmates where you're reviewing and critiquing the conclusions of those classmates. Once again, you don't have to point out spelling errors or typos, but you need to try to help your classmates improve their papers. Be polite, but also try to help them improve. A second pair of eyes on a paper can really help. Try to help each other improve your work. Don't just say, hey, that was great. That's not helpful. That doesn't help them improve their grade. All right, then you have a couple of other things that you need to take care of this week. There's a final exam that you have. You've got 12 hours to do that. Please read the directions. You can only attempt the final exam one time, so make sure that you're ready to do this whenever you take it. And there's a list of topics that are going to be covered, so make sure that you review about plagiarism, thesis statements, topic sentences, and so on. There's a research quiz also that you need to take. Once again, you have 12 hours to do that. This time, there's a tutorial for this that can be accessed through the Ashford Online Library. And so here's the link to the library on the left-hand side of the page. Click that, and you can go there, and you'll find the material that you need to help you review. Check there for the information that you need for that exam. And then finally, in week 4, there is no written assignment, but please make sure that you start revising your research paper in preparation to turn that in during week 5. I've made a number of comments on the week 3 paper. I point out typos and grammatical errors and punctuation errors on the paper itself. You need to correct every single one of those comments that I make on your paper. So this is to try to help you get a better grade. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I want you to get a good grade. And one way to do that is if you'll fix all the stuff that I marked on your week 3 draft. There's no sense in turning in week 5 something that I've told you fix in week 3, and you turn in the same thing in week 5. You make the same mistake over and over and over again. Don't do that. That's the reason why I'm here. It's to help you. And if you'll look at the comments that I made on the paper, I actually correct all the spelling errors, all the punctuation errors, all of that stuff I have corrected for you and pointed out to you on the week 3 paper. You need to fix that. Okay? You need to go back and look at that week 3 paper, not just the comments that I make in the comments field, but on the paper itself I mark things. And so you need to fix all of those things. Every single thing that I mark on that week 3 paper, you need to fix that before you turn that paper in the final draft in week 5. Writing is kind of like polishing a floor. If you ever watch somebody polish a floor, they go over and over and over again in circles, and those circles overlap. Writing a paper is a lot like polishing a floor. You need to go over and over and over it again. It's not just a one draft process. You don't just write something and then turn it in and that's it. You have to revise and you have to polish. Writing is a polishing process, and so you need to polish these papers and make them sparkle. If you do nice, neat work, this is good practice for the world of employment. Employers want employees who will do nice, neat work. Employers want employees who don't keep messing up the same thing over and over and over again. If your boss at work tells you to fix something, they want you to fix it. They don't want to have to tell you over and over and over again to fix something. They tell you once, you fix it, and it doesn't happen again. If you make errors over and over and over again at work, eventually you get terminated. You can't do that. We want you to succeed. So please start now and start practicing how you're going to succeed. Practice in the college classroom is going to equal success in the world of work. If you do sloppy work in the classroom, you're going to do sloppy work on the job. And if you do sloppy work on the job, you're not going to be employed for very long. You need to practice now. I hope that you will practice. I hope that you'll pay attention to details. And please do make all corrections that I have noted on the Week 3 draft. Don't turn in the Week 5 paper without correcting it. The corrections are there for you, so please make them. I hope that this helps. Good luck with your Week 4 and Week 5 work.